First up, we have a very special guest, Blaire Bercy, Vice President and Director Creative of PR agency Golin. Blaire's here to share her expertise into creating impactful, standout brand video. Over to you, Blaire.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm so excited to be here, and this is going to be fun. And get your eyeballs ready because there's going to be some video examples. So we're going to start with 5 elements to creating an impactful brand video. And so the first one I'm going to give you, tip number 1, is a laser focused customer aesthetic. So when there's no physical product and there's nothing to kind of focus on who you're speaking to, who you're providing your service to, who spends their time and their money with you. What do they look like? Where do they come from? Your media should reflect that. In this digital age, people are kind of tired. The fatigue of seeing the glossy, perfect people has gone through. So now we're looking for images that reflect the audience that you're speaking to. So I'm going to show you some examples. So if you're in fitness, try not to find the kind of perfect, glossy toned bodybuilder, but more kind of your example of what fitness looks like for your customer. If you're in finance, perhaps you don't want to show the CEO in the office. You want to show a mother doing her bills at home, or a young couple looking to buy their first home. So show real people doing relatable things, and that will make your content stand out within each platform. And then there's a pro tip. Search descriptors your team uses internally. I find that once people see that search bar, it's a lot like Google. They put in things that they assume the search should show. So we're going to flip that. You're going to start looking for the terms that you use internally with your team. Getty Images has a really robust library. So when you're searching for footage, use the terms that you use internally, and you'll kind of have a more laser focused and pinpoint aesthetic when you find your footage. On to tip number 2, refine your creative to fit your resources. So everybody began this pivot to video, but nobody really thought about the budget that it takes to create content. So start thinking about the resources that you have on hand. Start thinking about, if your company can't afford the gear and the man hours and what it would take to churn out production regularly, go start culling through creative imagery, creative video content, and find ways to plus up your communication. Figure out, if you're looking for something for the holiday season, begin to pull in that imagery now. Start finding things that you like, saving them, keeping them on hand so that when you have time to create that content, you know exactly what you have in stock and what you have kind of in your folders. I'm going to show you some examples. We all talk about working from home. Dogs are a really big part of that. So I know that this is something that a lot of the brands that we work with look for, things that are really relatable, things that are beautiful and still show your company in a gorgeous light, but things that you probably could not afford to produce on your own for various reasons. Tip number 3, platform awareness. Customize your content for the spaces where your audience will be watching. So I think when most people think about footage or creating something, they think about it in a 16:9 perspective, so in that good landscape view. But if you're uploading something for Instagram stories, it's going to be in vertical. So rather than having to crop and lose some of that good real estate on either side, think about maybe creating something within that vertical format, or something more square for your Instagram feed, a reaction GIF for Facebook, or a question prompt for Twitter. Create specific either edits or kind of videos that promote engagement on social. Definitely use just as a reaction. Add video for a static image. I know a lot of times, especially for holidays, a lot of brands will post a question or a comment or just a good tidings, but you can also create that within videos. So think about ways to kind of add a little motion, a little excitement to what you're doing, and join the conversation and meet your consumer, join the conversation and meet your customer where they are. If they're having conversations on Facebook and they're celebrating kind of those odd holidays like Donut Day or, bring your puppy to work day, hop in there. You don't need to create the content on your own. You can find really beautiful footage and become part of the conversation that they're already having on your social platforms and within your accounts. Here are a few examples. That good realistic video. Everybody loves the donut. Also pulling images or reactions. So if you're very excited about something, there's a great way to kind of share that excitement from a brand perspective. And when in doubt, animal photos are a big win. They are a conversation neutralizer. So if things are getting a little too heavy, throw up a very cute animal photos. Dogs will be kind of the winner online, and cats as well. But it's one of those things that you should always have in your portfolio, in your library. Just know that a good, beautiful animal photo will always be a great kind of mood elevator and a conversation neutralizer. All right, tip number 4, give your audience rich, tactile moments. There are universal moments that everybody can see, hear, feel, and touch. One of the examples I'm going to show you later is somebody kind of browsing clothes on a rack. Everybody knows the sounds, whether they're plastic hangers, wire hangers, wooden hangers. They know the feeling of being in a shop and kind of running their hands along clothing. That's an example that I love to use because it's universal, it's global. Everybody knows that. So give your audience those moments so that they have a connection to your brand. With everybody this past year, with everybody kind of socially distancing and being home, people didn't realize how much human contact and human experience was necessary for them. So Wanderlust was through the roof. So feel free to satiate this need by giving people the opportunity to feel like they're interacting or going outside or traveling within their footage. Drone footage became hugely popular again. So find a piece of drone footage that kind of evokes the feel from a specific region, or think about seasonal aspects of your business. Kind of give your customer a mental vacation if necessary. So I'm going to show you a few examples. Touch and travel has been huge. So go through and try to find, content that would speak to your audience in a organic way, but also has these elements, because the tactile moments will always provide not only positive interaction, but kind of give your content those legs. People come back to it, people share it, and that's exactly what you want. And here's a bonus tip. Zoom footage. I think over the past year, more than ever, everybody has gotten used to seeing those Brady Bunch boxes within a conversation. If you are recording Zoom footage and you find that it's important, or you really think that this conversation should be promoted across social platforms or even internally. I know we get this a lot of questions on how to kind of make internal video more engaging. Add in footage within that Zoom. Let your Zoom become the talk track and pull in gorgeous footage. It not only shows that you cared enough to kind of plus up the communication, but it engages. So even if you were part of the Zoom or you've heard the topic before, seeing that rich footage laid over kind of the impactful or important topics will increase kind of the positive feedback and the positive sentiment when people are watching footage that could just be a standard recorded Zoom call. And number 5, make sure that your brand video doesn't feel like a brand video. Every platform has the ability to run ads. So if you're going to run an ad, run an ad. But if you want a brand video that is either going to give you earned or an earned opportunity, or you want to give back to your audience in some way or your customers in some way, give them something. Your video should be so engaging and so wonderful and have kind of such a purpose that even if you took your brand out of it, people would still want to watch and interact with it. So think about useful and compelling content, then integrate your brand message. It might be a gentle touch. Think about other ways that, it doesn't necessarily need to be a logo in a corner. It can be your brand aesthetic, your themes, your colors, maybe use a prop. There are lots of different ways that you can make a connection between your brand and what your audience needs or what they would find engaging. And I think a lot of people are figuring out what their consumers are into kind of in a creative and hobby DIY sort of way. So think about that. If knitting or pottery or planting is something that you find being talked about within your audience, or something that you'd like your audience to kind of focus on, create a video with that in mind. The term branded content has a rainbow of opportunities. So don't think of it as a kind of QVC infomercial. Think of it as kind of a way to boost brand awareness and give back, and you'll be seen a lot more favorably with your audience. And that has been my presentation. Thank you so much. Rachel, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Thank you so much, Blaire, for that fantastic presentation. Loads of brilliant insight there.